Now for our final speaker is Shubham.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah. And thanks, Max, for giving this opportunity to share this use case. So, I have a very interesting use case to share with all of you. So, I happen to be a IT professional and an educator, currently pursuing my doctorate. And during this journey, when I was studying a lot of AI tools, I figured out that in the public sector, there is a need for efficiency. There is a need for AI tools to accelerate their processes because generally government offices take a lot of time in terms of like completing their work because they follow older methods. So I found this gap and I went to these offices, tried to understand, met a lot of people, and figured out one thing, that there are a lot of gaps there. So what were the gaps which I identified? Firstly, they used to lose a lot of time in terms of like carrying out the processes instead of having it just on emails, like how we professionals do it in corporate world. These guys generally have it on paper and they carry out those physical files from one point to another, get signatures and approvals. So one thing which I found was like do not have that exposure to technology. Secondly, like translation, formatting, data entry, these were some common problems which were identified. Again, a lot of delays because of holidays and other like factors. Government workforce was majorly focused upon like how can they do the processes by the book, but not actually by using technology. And there was a lot of wastage which was identified. So what I did, I trained around 500 plus government employees here in Mumbai and Maharashtra in India. And we initially, when we started with staff training, there were multiple challenges. Like here, generally the records were maintained in a physical manner, like in printed format or maybe handwritten format. To convert it from the physical format to the digital format was the first challenge. So I started with training them on how can they do it efficiently. Then we started with some basics like Microsoft Copilot, ChatGPT, Perplexity, and these were the tools that were really like easy and they could get started with. But again, there is a challenge here. The thing is about data security. Like how can we like actually share our own government data with these models, right? So we are in the process of now building a custom GPT for them so that it can be hosted locally on their servers, like the government servers, and it can help them solve their problems at a faster pace. So I tried a lot of hands-on workshops and we started gaining efficiency boost. So for basic tasks like maybe typing out a letter or creating some document, instead of them typing it manually, now we do it with voice assisted commands on Copilot or using ChatGPT. So that's how this thing has really shown better results. And with this, there is a faster track like in terms of completing the processes. So here are some real photographs of what trainings I did with different offices. And yes, with this, the projected hour savings is like around 12,000 plus hours, looking at the number of people I trained. And this also gave us a very good metric. Like we recently achieved one top rating, one rank in the competition, which was announced by the chief minister. So, what was the process that we did and how it will work for different organizations? So, first is like identify the repetitive tasks. This is the first and foremost step. So, it is important to identify what is the thing that is actually wasting a lot of time. Then try to see which Gen AI solutions are actually fitting the case, and then upskill the teams. This is also very necessary. So I have my startup Delta the Innovators primarily focused on helping companies to attain digital transformation, helping companies to like accelerate their digital transformation processes, and this is how it boosts productivity. So recently I even delivered a TEDx talk where I spoke about how AI can be utilized as a learning partner, how AI can actually help in automating processes. So this is how it is really showing very good results. The only thing is it is important to know which AI tool will help in what case. And that's where like I have created this small map which can help you guys identify. Of course, many of us are already using it, but even if like I'll tell you, I have this video recording on my YouTube channel where when I was showing them like AI can speak in the local language, like here in Hindi or maybe in Marathi. So they were fascinated by this fact that okay, AI is speaking with such an emotional quotient. It is trying to speak in such a local language. So these were the tools which I generally used for their trainings, like ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Copilot. Notebook LM actually is really helpful in their case because they have a lot of rules to follow, a lot of guidelines to follow. Notebook LM can have all different kinds of sources, and that helps in like taking decisions at a faster pace. Napkin AI was used for creating those presentations, beautifying those presentations. Even the diagram that you see currently on my presentation is created using napkin.ai. And Google AI Studio, of course, to learn different softwares. Even in their case, it's like they use a lot of geospatial softwares or maybe like such softwares which are proprietary. but I was not aware of how to use it. But when I shared it, and with Google AI Studio, you can actually communicate with AI. So it was easier for me to learn those softwares using tech. So tech is enabling tech. This is what I could find in this whole journey. And I'm on this mission of enabling more and more people, entrepreneurs, students to accelerate their learning processes by means of AI, by means of open source technologies. And in this journey, I even wrote 3 books. So one of those, which is my recent one, is Innovate with Responsible Artificial Intelligence, which majorly talks about how can you make use of AI technology responsibly. Because currently the major question that I see that is not yet discussed much is like who owns the IP, that is the intellectual property. Let's say today, if I'm creating something using an AI model, image, or maybe a video, tomorrow, who is the original creator for it? Is it the company who is providing us those tools, or is it you who is creating that, or is it someone from whom you're copying that work? So this is what is a question, a very critical question that still needs to be answered. And I have tried in my book to answer these kinds of questions, which are really tough to answer at the very first when we have a look at it. But yeah, this is what majorly is my work all about, and here are some glimpses of how the trainings would actually like give better results. So that's about me, and if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me those in the chat section.
I think one thing I'm curious about is, what I guess I'd love to know more about, like, kind of what inspired you to come up with this.
Yeah, so the thing is, like, I actually traveled a lot, and I figured out, like, in various rural areas, in many like spaces where we are all privileged, we at least have access to good technology and tools. But when I went to different like rural areas or NGOs, I figured out they don't have that access, right? And I actually explored this during my engineering days, and after engineering, I completed my MBA, masters, and now I'm in the final year of my doctorate. So since those 6 7 years, in this span of 6 to 7 years, I went to different ashram schools. I went to different rural areas and figured out that they don't have resources. So that's where I figured out open source can be their enabler. And now AI, this is also one very good benefit that has come up. So AI plus open source, I'm trying to combine these both and give entrepreneurs, give students a chance that they should try something of their own.
Well, thank you so much, Shubham. Let's give him a round of applause, and let's give a round of
Thank
applause
you.
to all of the speakers that spoke today.